You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here. Steph, welcome to Spark TV. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you, Danielle. Really nice to be here. So thanks for having me. Yep.
Oh my God, we've already just been chatting, so I already know this is going to be a good one. Let's start out by telling everybody who you are and what you do.
So my name is Stephanie Bofinger. I'm the CEO and founder of Fempro Armour, and we do female shock-absorbing smart armour for injury prevention in impact sports such as AFL, NRL, rugby, motorcycling. But we also supply into the Defence Force, and we go into the healthcare to prevent head of femur fractures in our mums and dads, our elderly parents.
Holy crap.
That was my 90-second elevator speech.
I love it. This is so good. How the hell did you get into this? This is amazing.
Well, so I was for 20 years in the beauty industry. I had a beauty salon / day spa later on in Brisbane. And end of 2019, I rode my dirt bikes through the Simpson Desert to raise funds for Dolly's Dream, which is an anti-bullying charity where Dolly, she committed suicide due to cyberbullying. And we were 13 girls, and I rode into the desert owning a day spa, and I came out of the desert deciding I need to change how women are protected when they are doing stuff like what I did that are pretty dangerous in itself, because we women have to wear protective gear that is designed for the male shape that might be either then classed as unisex, or they are just shrinking it and pinking it, and then they're classing it as a female protective gear, but in essence it's still the same. And so here I thought, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to bring out female body armor for motocross. So I launched in December 2020.
Oh my God.
And in February,
good on you.
February 2021, I then relaunched into Fempro Armour because I realized that the problem was not just in motocross. It was pretty much where females can go. It was in horse riding, obviously motorcycling, martial arts, boxing, workplace, security, police, defense. And then I had 2 family members fall, and my grandma broke her hip. She died 4 days later due to complications. And then my mom fell as well, broke her hip too. And then I said, okay, enough. I'm going to create body armor for the elderly to prevent fall, to prevent the impact of a fall, because we can't stop them falling, but we can stop off how what happens after that, because statistically it shows that a large majority of people that have fallen and broken their head of femur will die within 12 to 18 months. And it's actually not the break in itself, but it's the stuff that it's around it, because they lose their independence, then they're not active, then they can't breathe properly, and then just one thing starts that spiral of going downhill. And I have seen it with my mom. She's 77, but she is more like 85.
Wow.
And there are so many things that she can't do anymore, which is terrible to go through. And yeah, so that's how it all came together. And sometimes I'm cursing the Simpson Desert because life was so much easier prior to this. However, I love every minute of it, because we people that have bought our gear, if it is a parent or the athlete in itself or a motorcyclist, and when they send us a message and go like, we had for example, I had a lady call me 6 weeks after she bought our gear, and she said, Steph, I need some new jerseys. And I'm going like, okay, no problem. But may I ask why? You only just bought it. And she said, well, I came off my motorcycle at 100k an hour on the M1 in New South Wales, and
Wow.
she slid on the chest for about 100 meters. And so when she showed me the pictures, like, and she was someone that never wore any protective gear prior because of the stuff is so uncomfortable
Yeah.
and not fitting. And if she didn't had anything, she would not had any nipples left. Let's put it this way.
Wow. Yeah.
And so she became my poster girl as
I
such.
love that. I
And
mean, horrific, but yes.
yeah, it is. And picture of her on our Facebook page is she's got a beer, biggest smile on her face. She looks like she had an attack of a zombie, like a zombie was just going after her. And but she smiled, thumbs up, and that's what we're here for. Is when you do get into something like that, is you are protected as best as possible. And
Yes.
we're not saying that you can't get injured, but when the injury do happen, they are significantly less, so
Mm.
that you recover faster, you don't have, or the likelihood of long-term problems is significantly reduced. And it gives people the confidence to do things that they thought they could not do. And when we
Mm.
talk about grassroots sports like NRL, rugby, or AFL, a lot of the parents are holding their girls back because they're obviously worried about them getting hurt, particularly when they have to play with boys,
Mm.
because women do get injured way much quicker than men or boys and girls. So that, you know, hearing that girls have more opportunities because parents feel so much safer when they know that their kids are protected, it's a pretty cool feeling.
That is absolutely incredible. I am so impressed. So tell me then, this means, so you have a physical product. This means that you would have had to have done all of your research, prototyping, manufacture in 2020, which tells me that was COVID times. What was that like?
COVID was, to be quite honest, the best thing that ever happened to me,
Mm.
because obviously being in the health industry, I had to shut down my business because
Mm.
when before COVID, when we did research, so I worked a full-time job and then I had to do all my research at night. So for the first year, I slept on an average 3 to 4 hours. I was an adrenaline junkie.
Wow.
I had no idea until my very first holiday in 2021 of how much adrenaline I had in my body,
Mm.
because when we actually went away, I completely broke down. I just slept. Like, it was just incredible. I've never slept in my life that much. Anyway, so
You
COVID
needed it.
came in,
Yep.
and I had all this time. Obviously, I had no
Mm.
money because nothing came in, but I had time. So
Yes.
I just went on this. I mean, I had at the time 3 computer screens and I had so many tabs open. I could not even, like, I would close accidentally tabs because they were so
Yeah,
little.
this is so
And
thin.
it was so tiny. It's like I should have had like this massive TV screen where I could have, had multiple pages in happening. But and to be quite honest, through the research, this maze was just like a monster. And to be quite honest, I really can't tell you how I got to the final part, because there was no straight line, or it was just like a
Mm.
spaghetti ball. There was no clear vision until I found this one video where these two guys, one was hitting the other with a frying pan and the other one with a cricket bat. And I'm going like, oh, this sounds interesting. And then that went even further down. And obviously, through the first 12 months of research, I approached about 15 manufacturers, and they all told me that what I wanted was impossible to do. Now, call me a stubborn German, but just because we don't know how to do it doesn't mean there is no way to do it. It's just,
Mm,
how bad do you want it?
I love
And for
that.
me is I've taken the existing product and gone like, okay, what is working in that and what is not working? So I then redesigned the parts that did not work. So,
Mm,
excuse me, it was quite fun because obviously, as you can imagine, females have different shapes, not just in body shape, but also in breast shape. They are further
yeah.
apart, they are higher, lower, hanging, teardrop, all. I've never played with so many boobs in my life before. And
What a happy little accident. So
my,
good.
my husband, or back then boyfriend at the time, he said, "Can I do this?"
Yeah,
Because
I think I found my role in this company.
I know, because we took plaster casts of those
Ah,
different shapes.
yeah,
And because we had to work out how many do we need to do in order to fit everyone in it. And
yeah,
so through that particular video where they hit each other with that frying pan and bat, I then found my manufacturer. And when I approached them just like any other one. And funny enough, they're only 15 minutes away from my hometown in Germany,
oh my
which
God, this is awesome.
I didn't know. And so my email to them said, okay, could I have a conversation? Because I still speak German. I like to see people when I interact with them.
Mm,
And the email came back. They said, we don't do any Zoom calls, but send us your stuff and then we go from there. And I'm going, okay, but before I do that, can you please sign my NDA? And then I will send my stuff over. So I did send the stuff over. The next email came from the business owner and said, "Oh, we would like to Zoom with you." And I'm going like,
wow.
so I mean, I
Oh,
must
so
have
you make
something.
exceptions for good ideas. Excellent.
Exactly. So we obviously had this conversation, and on the end of it, he said, "Stephanie, I have no idea how we do this, but we find a way." And
Wow. Oh my
so,
God. That
so
must have been
I,
like the best thing that you heard in this entire process.
it was just incredible because, particularly in motorcycling, when you want to sell overseas, you have to have European impact certification. Now, when you look
Yeah.
at traditional armors, everything is flat. Now, but when you bring in a curve like the breast shape, the impact certification is scaled up at, you know, like let's say impact certification
Wow.
here on a round shape, it's like up there. So it's definitely much harder to do.
Mm.
And but 12 months and 4 days later, after that conversation, I had my very first body armor.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Have you been over since to meet them?
No,
Ah, I thought you would have gotten like a little trip back home and
no.
squeezed straight in.
I mean, I've been here now. Hang on, 37 years, and I've only been
Ah,
back
wow.
once.
Oh my gosh,
And
wow.
that was 10 years ago. But I am going back to Germany in December. I'm at a expo, the biggest European expo in December, and then I go and see them.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
it is amazing, and they've been through everything, and they are dreading when I come up with new ideas because it's never simple.
Oh, that's so good. So you mentioned an expo. So you sell, and because you do government contracts, so what does your business model look like? Do you do e-commerce, wholesale, contracts? Like what's that ecosystem look like?
So we don't have any contracts into the Defence Force. We supply the back part of a ballistic plate. So our body
Oh,
armor goes behind a ballistic plate that was designed over hours because
ah,
for 5 years they tried to get the breast shape right and they're gone like, we don't get it. Can you help us? And I'm going like, you guys should know how to do this. You play with boobs so much more than we do, you know. And so they've used our product to design the outer shell. So
Cool.
so with them, we supply our gear to them, and then because of license issues when it comes to do like ballistic, there's
Mm,
a lot of protocols involved where who's going to be responsible if something fails. So
mm.
the ballistic plate takes obviously the bullet, ours will take the kinesthetic force of the bullet, and it will
Wow.
make it also more comfortable. So with them, we have an internal contract. Otherwise, we sell through our website, and we go in wholesale to various stockists that we have. We're obviously still a startup, so we're sort of creeping slowly towards that, because you don't want to have anyone stocking it, because our
Mm.
product is not very well known.
Yeah.
So it's not like, let's say, Fox or Alpine
Mm.
Star, that is very into the motorcycling, car racing and stuff like that. People know about it. So when they need something, they go into a shop and they ask for it. Where
Yeah.
with Fempro Armour, the stockist still has to promote us. So they still
Yeah.
have to talk about it. So for me, is I'd rather have less stockists, but they actually help us promote and grow, instead a stockist that keeps your product just on the shelf and is waiting for it to walk out by itself.
Yeah.
Because we're not at that stage yet.
That's awesome. And it is actually great advice for people. I think sometimes when you are going down the wholesale path, you just think the more the better. But you're so right. That person, I remember even Sarah Blakely, who founded Spanx, she talks about that. She's like, in the early days, so she'd have stockists, but she would go into the department store and just stand there and tell people what it does, because she's like, no one got it. Like the sales assistant didn't know what they were or what they do. So, and then obviously
But
that went on to be a very billion-dollar company. So I feel like you're on the way.
the problem I find with stockists is because they don't train staff properly.
Yeah.
And I have cancelled on two stockists. One was in Canada, where he was a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
seriously. And I was thinking, if this is the first 2 3 months, and
Yeah.
I wanted to, so being German, we like paperwork, we like contracts. I don't do gray. I'm very black and white. And I like to have things spelled out so
Hmm.
that communication is open and no
Yeah.
mistakes are being made. And you can't, if I have a contract and you sign it, you know exactly what you can expect from me, but you also know what I'm expecting from you. Now, if you sign it, then for me, that shows you have read it. And if you haven't, well, that's not my problem, but I will hold you accountable to this. So for me, is I wanted him to sign our wholesale agreement so that we know exactly what he's going to do, and what he can expect from us in assistance, etc. And he goes like, well, I don't do that. And I'm going like, that's okay. I'm not going to force you, but that's not going to keep going from us, and we will just say no to you. And then,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't mean this. And so he backpedaled, and I'm going like, nah, it's already gone. Don't need you.
Yeah.
Sure, I needed him in a way at that point, most definitely. But if you're already like that at the start, how is it going to be 12 months down the track? And I'm going like, nah, not interested. And just recently, I had a conversation with a stockist where she, like, gone like, okay, your last order was in 2022. Do you still want to be a stockist of ours? And she,
Mm.
oh yeah, yeah, and I'm going like, well, you are obviously not promoting or doing new bits, and I haven't seen any social medias, etc. What do you need from us, and all that kind of stuff. And then she said, oh, we are promoting you. And I'm going like, okay, so how come when I rang last week the assistant who answered the phone didn't even know what Fempro Armour was. And I'm going like, well, if your salesperson doesn't know what we are, then I can assume you're not promoting, because if they, so I'm kind of like, so it is a very tough thing to have a
Yeah.
particular, I hate the word, you're a niche, because we're not a niche. I mean, we are females. We are, the population has more females than males. However, we are like Billabong when they started in the 80s. There was nothing for females, and suddenly, there's a different approach to it than if you have already underwear out there and you're bringing a different kind of underwear, but it's still in the same underwear,
Genre.
people. Yeah, it's not an unfamiliar part to it to sell as such. But when there's something completely new and we're talking about boobs and women, and for some reason it's such a big problem for guys particular. So yeah, it's funny.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. So how are you going about marketing? So if you're in that phase of, got to tell the world about what's going on, both for your e-commerce, but for, wholesalers and potential partners, what are you currently doing for marketing that's working?
Oh, look, working, it's debatable as such. We are still trying to figure out what will work and what doesn't. Our gear's a lot by word of mouth, to be quite honest. And so, for example, motorcycling, I mean, a lot of motorcycle pages, because I'm a motorcycle rider, obviously. So when people are asking, then people are actually saying, have a look at Fempro. I have that. So we see
That's
now that
cool.
there's a hell of a lot of that happening. Yes, I'm putting posts out, and I don't like saying try. When we do is making it more of what the benefits to them are than what the product is about. Because to be quite honest, no one cares about what the product is. They care about what does this product give me when I'm wearing it.
Yes.
So making that for us, it's our new product with the AFL and rugby. I actually partner up with clubs, and the
Cool.
clubs are actually doing the work for me,
That's
because
super cool.
instead having a stockist where I have to give a certain percentage, I give the clubs, because clubs struggle making money. So if they are referring us to a new club and that club brings us a sale in, then the referral club will get a percentage, which is obviously less than a stockist. So I say if they make money, I'm getting into another club. So, and it just multiplies. So through contracts, and then I just ask, who can we help? And our customers love sharing. I mean, I just recently had a customer who went to school, which is the most expensive private boys' school in the Sunshine Coast. And so he's gone like, here, this is what my son is wearing. Have a look at that. So the school became interested. And so it's more that kind of a stuff is working for us than actually posts.
Yes.
We have a great ambassador program. So it's actually our customers that refer, they make some money as well.
Love it.
Because whilst I'm very grateful when they're doing it for free, but I feel a bit odd on that, because it makes me feel like it's just me. It's just, and to be quite honest, when we exit our business, I want to have the biggest ass party on this planet. And this party can only happen when we have people in our team.
Yes.
And so our ambassadors, our shareholders, our normal customers, they all need to come, particularly the ones that bought our gear when it was really bad. And I'm saying it because I'm looking at our apparels when we started, and I'm cringing. I'm going like, how can anyone buy this? Because the quality back then to what it is, it's like it's like a different dimension.
Wow.
And but they were the ones that believed in us, because when you sell your first product, they will, if it's good, they will show it to someone else, and then one becomes two, and then two becomes four, and it's taking a long time to get that momentum. But it's great. I mean, I go riding sometimes and someone is riding past me that wears my gear. When that actually happened the first
Oh.
time, I went like, did you see this? Did you see this? And
Oh my God.
I went on this group ride with my husband and some other people, and there were two girls that wore our gear. Now they didn't know that we were the ones making that. Now they didn't buy it from us, so they bought it from someone else, obviously through a stockist.
Mm.
So it was just, I'm going like, it was the best ride ever, because we then became really good friends. But it was, people like those, because they are ambassadors and they're not wanting anything. They just love to share it, and that's where our success comes in selling, pretty much.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. And I mean, it's interesting. I think that you're right. That word of mouth approach, especially in the beginning, is slow, but it's just the best kind of marketing. If somebody other than a brand is saying, this is awesome, this is what I use, like there is no better marketing than that right there. But I do love the approach of giving them a cut, taking them on the journey and rewarding them for that referral. I think that's smart. And I love that there is going to be an epic exit party with all of these amazing supporters. What's your strategy? What's your timeline? What do you want to do? What's the exit plan?
Well, exit plan will be 3032 when the Olympic, so either in 2032 or
Yep,
2033. I always say it wrong way. 20, hang on,
whatever it is.
2033. Yes.
2033.
It's
All
way
right.
too far to think of,
So what's
because
that? That's um
8 years,
8 years. Okay, cool.
8 years.
Thank you for doing that math for me. I was looking at 2025 going, I can't even deal with
Yeah.
this.
It's the
Wow,
reason why we
cool.
chose that, because anything and everything that we do now is tailored towards equipping a few disciplines in the Olympics. Now, obviously,
Cool.
if we exit beforehand, awesome. Um, but having our gear present at the Olympics as the supplier, for example, into rugby, also into martial arts, etc., and
Yep.
then new sports that will come up, it will make the paycheck just a few more zeros. So
Yes.
for us, I'm then 60, hang on, I'm 62, 63 then,
Yep.
it's time for me to leave. If I
Hmm.
do, that's the different question. But when I had my day spa, it was created very much around me, and it was a job, where
Mm,
Fempro Armour from day one was set up so that it's not me. So I
yeah.
literally could leave and someone picks up our manual and then continues operating Fempro Armour. And so for me, it was very much the lessons that I've learned owning a day spa and how I set that up made me realize I need to change that, so that I don't fall into the same trap. So, because for me, as much as I love Fempro Armour and it's my baby, but it's the same like with my children. I love them dearly, but I wanted them to go. I
Get
wanted to
out.
exit, get out. Where I love this baby, but I want to exit, get out.
There is a margarita on a beach somewhere in a
um,
decade.
No, I'd rather be underwater scuba diving or somewhere in a forest
There you
on my
go.
on my
Our exit
motorbike.
strategies are a little different. Oh my God. I love it so much. I could talk to you forever, but I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last piece of advice. So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her business journey?
Can I put two into one?
Yeah, do it. You can do it. There are no rules. You go
There
for it.
there are no rules. Well, for me, is not taking a no as the answer. Because if I did, I would not have my very first product. However, my attitude is I don't have a plan B. I truly believe a plan B is a cop out. It's that safety net if it's not working. I have invested every single thing that I have into this company. All our super, we've sold pretty much everything. Um, if this fails, and it's not failing, that's why I said if, because normally I don't have that if in my vocabulary. Um, it's failing because of my wrongdoing, not because of our product. So
Mm,
for me, having no plan B means I am more than 100% into this business because I cannot afford failing. Failure, it's not failure as such, because there's always lessons to learn. However, it's not just me anymore. We have shareholders in the company. So I owe them, like I want to sleep at night. And for me is I want to be able to close my eyes at night and have on my conscience um, the attitude that I have tried everything that I can possibly do today, and I will do this every day so that whoever invested in us, if it was $500 or $1,000 or $200,000, whatever the amount was, that they will get the return back. It's not just anymore failure for me, it's failure on a bigger scale to those people. And I could not forgive myself that someone else lost. I'm okay with losing money on my own if I fucked up, excuse my language, stuffed
all
up.
good.
So you need to edit that.
Nah,
I'm really sorry.
it's a free for all here. It's all good.
So it's not having a plan B and not saying or taking a no as the ultimate. When someone says no to me, I'm going like, that's okay. Do you mind if I come back at some stage? We could have another conversation. Or, like when I talk to someone, I always say, I don't know if this is for you, but at least if you had a look at it, you know what is on the market. So when you are ready, you already know about us. So it takes the pressure off. So for me, it's no plan B and don't take no for the answer.
Oh my God, Steph, you are absolutely incredible. I am so impressed. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey and your advice with the Spark community. So grateful to have you on the show.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thanks for having me in your community. I've only joined last week. And so I'm a very newbie to it. And I wanted to be in your community. I've seen it last year and I wasn't ready. And I always thought there's so much to learn, even if you know about it, just going back over it. So thanks for having me in your community. Loved my first workshop today. Was great, the IP stuff. So looking forward to it. I've signed for all of the workshops up, so it automatically comes. So I'm not missing anything. And just learn from others and be surrounded by a great community. So you're not alone.
Oh my God, I love you so much. No, my Spark is absolutely incredible for that. And we are honored to have you in the community. So I can't wait to learn more about the business and support you where we can. I think that you are just going to do amazing things. It's absolutely incredible.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And have a good night.
That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.